What is up? Welcome to the NBA Rundown, brought to you courtesy of Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Spread Astaire, joined today by the mustache man himself, Travis Mangone. Travis, I was on tilt. My DFS line is not doing well. I didn't win my bet last night, and seeing that just put me in a better mood. So, what inspired this greatness that you're bringing to the video today?
Well, I was just gonna shave, and I just said, let me shave a mustache. My parents are gonna be in town soon, and my mom hates when I do like just funny like different like facial hair stuff. So I sent her a picture. I said, "Can't wait to see you in 2 days," and she was like, "I hope that's not there in 2 days." So we just messed around with my parents, and yeah, I just figured why not keep it for the show and have a good time. So maybe it'll change the mojo around. It hasn't been the best streak for me. I know my plays of the days have been doing really well, but I haven't gotten it home. I was close last night. The OT kind of killed me, so maybe it'll change the mojo around, and maybe it'll stick for a while. Spread. Who knows? If I win 100K tonight or something crazy, like it's gonna have to stick. Am I right?
Oh, definitely, and I'd love to see that, and I think that the chat would as well. Robert says it looks good, and Bart Lockhart is happy that you're channeling the great Sam Elliott. So, what a slate we have tonight! It's a 5-game slate, so it's definitely good here because you and I can get in depth in these games, and we don't have to worry about running into the hardwood. We will have Tyler on real soon. For those of us who only watch the show for Tyler, don't worry, don't tune out. He will be here. But we figured we'd just get started and start diving into these games and giving the winners here. And Tyler should be with us shortly. Let's start. Let's not start with the game of the night. Let's start with the Chicago Bulls. That team pissed me off last night, Travis. I mean, they lost to the Knicks. What's going on with the Bulls? And you know what made me mad, right? At the beginning of the year, right, in our pre-shows, we're like, oh, the Bulls aren't good. DeRozan doesn't matter. They're still going to lose in the first round of the playoffs. And then they did so good, right? And we had to walk it back. And I had to apologize. I shouldn't have walked it back. That team's terrible. Everything I said at the beginning of the season, right, about this Bulls team and all the flaws that they had is coming true now. And it's because, Lonzo's not in the lineup. That matters a lot. But who knows when he's going to come back. Zach Levine's not 100%, right? And we're seeing that on the court. But this team is all offense. If they're not outscoring you, they're not going to win. They can't get stops when it matters. And that showed and you lose to the New York Knicks. I mean, unbelievable. I know the Knicks have been on a good streak here. But if you're really gearing up for the playoffs, you have to be able to beat the Knicks. I don't care if you're in New York. So tonight they go to Washington coming off that loss. It's the same line. They're -3.5 again. That's what they were last night. They couldn't get it done. Looked like they were going to get done. Did not. The Washington Wizards have been playing terribly as well. I think they've lost 8 of their last 10 games. Travis, did the Bulls finally get right against the Wizards tonight?
The Wizards have looked better, though. I will say that. And I think it's because they're just like funneling all this usage to Porzingis, which, like, man, I hate Porzingis. Definitely not someone I really want to play DFS wise, but we have to deal with him. The good news is this is one of those slates where you might be able to get away without kind of playing him just because that's some really, really good options at the top. I mean, you got Joel Embiid, you got Giannis, you got Luka. I mean, we have some studs tonight. We also have those Nets guys against the Pistons, but this game is definitely one that I think you can get some exposure to. It depends on Zach LaVine's status. Let's say Zach LaVine's sat. Well, DeMar DeRozan at 8.3K, Vucevic at 8K, especially against a team that's not that good against opposing big men. I mean, that's something I'm kind of interested in. I think those are guys that I'm going to look to get some exposure to at the top if I get LaVine out. I think that's really important. Caruso's 5'3", don't love the tag. It's fine. If LaVine is out, that's going to be really good for Kobe White and Ayo at their prices. I think they'll be able to have ceilings. And then on the other side, let's talk about this spread. We have Denny, who's been absolutely crushing it. Denny has looked amazing at 5.1K. Usage has been really great his way too. I think he's still in play, even though the price feels a little bit expensive. But I think it's a Thomas Satoransky revenge game. We got to get on board with that, right?
Oh, I knew you would find one.
Yeah, we have more than that. We have Satoransky revenge. We have Daniel Gafford revenge, and I think Troy Brown too. So we got them all, but the one that's actually viable is Satoransky. And his role, it's definitely more legit. Like Neto's not playing as much. I think Satoransky is a pretty safe option overall on a slate where value could be really good, right? I mean, the Lakers game, likely no LeBron. I don't know if he's officially out yet, but I remember seeing he was like doubtful, and I'm assuming
doubtful.
I'm assuming he sits this game. If he plays, I'd be really shocked, but Satoransky is also guard and forward eligible. And that's what we're talking about because guard and forward, having the ability to be at all those different spots can be really valuable at times. You can be rostered in so many different spots rather than just the shooting guard and like the utility and the guard, which is that's 3 spots. You rostered at point guard, forward, utility, small forward. I mean, there's so many spots at 5 spots instead of 3. So it definitely matters. I think Satoransky's in this game without the news is probably my favorite play right now. Betting wise, it is really hard to back the Bulls. I just don't think you need to bet this. Like, it's late in the year spread. Like, there's a lot of weird stuff happening. Like, the Magic just rolled a bunch of their guys out for tomorrow. Like, you don't have to bet every single game. So I don't think this is one that you need to race to go bet.
All right, and Travis, you're a great DFS player, and I've definitely learned a lot from talking to you and all the help that you've given me. So, as a way to give back, I just thought of something, right? So, in 20 years or whatever, when you sit down and you pen your autobiography, I think I got the title for you. Travis Mangone, How I Rode Role Player Revenge to Millions of Dollars. So,
Hey,
that's gonna be a
it
great book.
works, man. I mean, I don't know if you saw the other day, like O'Shea Brissett dropped 42. Now, of course, I get it. Like the Pacers had only 8 or 9 guys, however many they had, but that was a game where he was firing to start the game. The dude was just chucking. He was 7 for 10 while others are just like 0 for 2. Like some of these guys, like, they take it on the, shoulder a little bit and they want to go out there and prove themselves. And like the Wizards have nothing to play for. Why not? Sato's going to get excited for this game. Like you got boys on the other side that you probably like used to play with. I don't know if all of them are the same there. I know the Bulls roster is shaking up a little bit, but I'm sure Satoransky wants to get the best of them today.
All right, and we have Run Pure Bet's own Anakin Skywalker joining us, the kid, with all the winners. Tyler, we were talking about a little revenge. How are you approaching the Bulls and the Wizards?
I mean, I wish I got your Star Wars reference, but it's nice to have Gardner Minshew on the show. We got an NFL star here.
Yeah, I was curious. You're going to get your reaction organically on the show, so I thought it was funny.
Right when I jumped in, I started laughing. I was like, that's great. But as for this first game, what are we on? Chicago, Washington?
Yeah, I figured we'd save the main event for next.
I mean, got to bet Chicago again, I would say. Don't feel good about it. But
you want to fire against Satoransky revenge, Tyler?
I mean, I do have that written down in my notes, a Satoransky revenge game.
You really did.
Gafford revenge, Troy Brown revenge on the other side. Who knows who will get run on at this point?
Yeah, but the only things I wouldn't lay the 4. I would do the performance doubles. The Vucevic double and win plus 150. You can do him 20 plus points and win at plus 190 because Levine's probably going to sit, so you should get some more usage. Or you just go right to DeMar and use the 28 plus and win at plus 205. That's probably my favorite one.
You like the DeMar one better?
Yeah, I like the DeMar one.
Yeah, DeRozan put up good numbers in that loss last night, right? I mean, remind me of his San Antonio Spurs days.
Yep.
I still can't believe it, dude. I'm sorry. I've been a little tilted. My tennis didn't go well last night. That Chicago Bull. How do they lose to the Knicks? Tyler, did you watch that game? I know it's your favorite team. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
No, I didn't have eyes on that one.
Well, you're probably lucky that you didn't. All right. Anything more on the Wizards before we move on to the main event of the evening?
No, that's it for me on that game.
All right, because we are going in chronological order. We'll do the main event next. But, dude, everybody's going to want to see the Milwaukee Bucks play the Philadelphia 76ers. And that is assuming, right, because Travis and I talked about the possibility before we jumped on that Doc Rivers doesn't pull a Doc Rivers special and sit his stars beforehand. But if these teams are all at full strength, this is a great playoff preview. Both teams 46-28, half game out of first place, tied for second place right now. They're 1-1 against each other this year. So tonight will determine the tiebreaker if they end up tied at the end of the season. The question is, does anybody want that 2 seed? Is everybody scared of the Nets? And is there going to be some shenanigans going on? I personally think the Bucks are going to go full throttle no matter what. I don't think they're scared of anybody, whether or not that's smart, right? What is it? What's the difference between bravery and stupidity, right? So we can argue about, whether or not they should want to play the Nets, but I don't think they're afraid. I wonder if Philadelphia has that same attitude. I'm not really sure what to make of it as far as whether or not they want the 2 seed, but let's go ahead and handicap this game as in both of them want to win full strength, and that's what I'm expecting. Even so, I still like the Milwaukee Bucks here. My idea is, right, every single day on the show, Tyler, right, we talk about, every time we talk about the Sixers, we say, who's going to stop Embiid? And nobody is, right? But like I said before, they don't win every game and they don't cover every spread. That's because teams have found out that, hey, he can go for 38-15 and we can still get the win in this team by shutting down everybody else. I believe that the Bucks have the player to do that, right? Because they can put Jrue Holiday on James Harden. Jrue Holiday, an excellent defender, very physical, but he doesn't use his hands, so he's not going to be as prone to draw those silly fouls that Harden likes to bait his defenders into getting, right? And if you shut down Harden, got a great shot to shut down Maxey. I do believe that the Bucks can get the victory, because I believe that Giannis is also the same level of matchup problem for the Sixers that Embiid is for the Bucks. So I'm taking the Milwaukee Bucks money line. Tyler, let's start with you. Are you on my side today?
Yeah, I'm on your side today. I mean, you look at that last matchup they had the day before they went on the All-Star break. Philly won by 3, and that was before Harden started to play for the Sixers, of course. But, I mean, some of the production they got out of these role players, Niang put up 18, Korkmaz put up 13 and 7 off the bench, Tobias Harris put up 19, 8 and 4. It's like, I don't see that coming from these guys in this matchup. And Milwaukee might have had their starters in that game. Giannis, Holiday, Middleton, Portis, and Noir ended up starting that game, which he really doesn't start. So you're missing Grayson Allen in that game. There was no Coddington off the bench. Your main guys off the bench that game were Ibaka, Wes Matthews, and Wigington. Their bench is a lot better now. I think they're going to win the bench minutes here against Philly. And you're getting them at a plus price here. Give me Milwaukee. I think they win this game easy.
All right. Hey, Robert brings up a good point. He says Bucks are the worst team in the NBA in threes. He was thinking about over on Harden, Maxey, and Embiid threes. Have you looked at those props, Tyler?
I don't hate taking the threes against Milwaukee because they do play that drop coverage.
Yeah.
The guy I was looking at for threes, though, I think is going to be Brook Lopez. I think he's just going to be hanging out in the corner. He should probably hit 2 or 3 of them this game.
Yeah. And usually we have some great NBA chat going in the chat today, Travis, but it's all about your mustache today. So
we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that goes on the Hardwood show as well. I'm sure there'll be some comments.
So, but let's get away from fashion right now. Let's break down the Bucks and the Sixers. I got to hear your thoughts on. Right, you said we don't have to bet every game, but if there's a game to bet, right, assuming these teams are full strength, I think this is a normal handicap. You're betting matchups, players, right? I mean, we're not doing weird motivational things. Both teams should be motivated. What do you think?
Yeah, you assume, right? I mean, if something weird happens, that's fine. I am curious, are the Bucks are they going to turn that defense around that they've had that's been not the greatest as of late? I wonder. That's something I'm kind of curious about. I could see the Sixers winning this game. I think that's going to be my lean just because, I don't know. I mean, I think that Embiid has just been incredible, and Harden too, with the 3-pointers. This is a matchup where I think he can do really well. On the flip side, the Bucks, they've been kind of sitting guys, right? Where I don't know, sometimes you get out of rhythm, and I'm just looking for little things to kind of get me to push to one side, not a best bet or anything. This isn't something I absolutely love, but of course, if this is the game of the night that you want to watch, then you might want to get some action on it. So I think this is a fun game. DFS wise though, there's a lot to talk about because I want to play Giannis when I know it's going to be a really competitive game. You assume this game's competitive. There are times where it's not. If you remember, Nets and Sixers recently, Sixers laid an absolute egg against the Nets and they absolutely killed them. You lost all that fourth quarter rotation from those studs. So if the game does blow out, you can lose that. It can happen. It's definitely possible, but the likelihood is a lot less. That's why Giannis and Embiid, playing those two together, it's very interesting. The question is, can you do it? Is it possible? Because if you play both those guys, and I haven't pulled my stuff up completely to look, I kind of want to lock both in and just see what it does because value's not the greatest, at least until that LeBron news hits, and those Lakers guys will kind of be in play. But I don't know, which Lakers guys do you actually like? I mean, you're gonna have to sit here and play Dwight Howard, Wayne Gabriel, Stanley Johnson. These are not Tyus Jones at 4-2, the greatest values in the world. There are ways that they can fail and be unsuccessful. And then you have a Westbrook who's going to be by himself on a team, which at 8.8K, you're not going to be able to probably play Westbrook, Embiid, and Giannis. And some people are in the camp of that Westbrook sucks. Some are in the camp of that he's still able to do what he does when he's by himself and put up big fantasy games. I'm more in the camp of that. I don't need to play him at his price tag. He is at 8.8K, and I still think it's a tough tag to – not that it's a tough tag to pay off, but even if he got 45 DK points, you'd feel like you did fine, but that's not going to for sure win everything for you. So there are ways that it can fail for him. I think that's just worth mentioning. 8.8K guys, they can fail. It's definitely possible. So overall, I think that I really like the idea of getting exposure to both these guys, Embiid and Giannis. I want to try and get it together. Not as excited to play, even though it is a Drew Holiday revenge game. 8.7K Drew Holiday. I don't think I'm in on. Chris Middleton.
At what point does revenge stop, right? I mean, they drafted him, right? I mean,
yeah, I figured I'd go with it. Why not?
That's a great memory jog, though. I actually forgot about his time in Philadelphia, and that was when they were tanking, and he was too good, so they had to get rid of him because they were going to win games with him on the floor, right?
Yeah, actually, I was listening to. I don't know if you ever listened to like some of those Twitter spaces. I was listening to a Lakers space the other day.
Oh, those are the best after losses.
They're ridiculous. So they were talking about how the Pelicans, Pelicans and Lakers fans were fighting, and they were talking about how, Drew Holiday and Anthony Davis left your teams and won titles. Like, you know what I mean? That just shows how much of a disaster your franchise. And it's like, didn't LeBron and Giannis have a little bit the same?
Yeah.
It's just, they're like really bad takes flying everywhere. And it's like, I just want to like talk in them, but I did not. Maybe one day I will, but man, it was painful to watch. But
we had a fun one yesterday. I'd love to hear your take on Devin Booker or Ja Morant.
Who's better?
Are you saying like what's the context? Like how long?
Just take one, but you got to start your team with them, or take them off the team. Who means more?
I mean, my lean is I would rather have Booker, I think.
Oh, yeah, wow.
Yeah, me and Title said the same thing. We're both on Booker.
I am over here on Ja Island. Oh, my God.
It's a tough one, though. I don't think it's, easy. Here's another one. Trae Young or Ja Morant?
Ja.
Yeah, I'm probably
yes.
That's it. It's a tough one.
Ja over Trae, but I don't think it's a set in stone. Like, I'm really kind of in the middle. I think both are.
Yeah, I think that's a very tough one, Trae and Ja.
Because Trae's never going to be a good defender. Ja at least will eventually be a good defender.
True, but it all depends on the context too. Because Ja is going to break down way sooner than Trae for sure. That's another thing. So, but
okay. Ja probably got 5-6 good years in him, and then them knees are going to go.
And what I don't know, Ja could definitely I think Ja Morant is what John Wall wanted to be. John Wall wishes.
That would. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, that's because John Wall always wanted to be a great 3-point shooter and tried to, and I was always hoping he could, and then he never was really great at it. I mean, he was fine, but not where you need to be would be on the top tier level. But yeah, no, those are definitely interesting ones. I guess I lean Booker, but I'd like either. Either are fantastic. But back to this game, let me discuss a couple more things DFS wise. I lean Embiid over Harden if I have to pick. So that's my current lean right now. Obviously, if we get a lot of center value, then I could change to the other way. But I do think that getting Embiid over Harden makes sense. If I have to pick between Giannis and Embiid, my lean is Giannis. So my ranking is Giannis, Embiid, then Harden. When it comes to the cheap guys, Brook Lopez is 4.2K. So there is a possibility he can get there at his price. He's a good producer, even though the minutes are kind of low and it's a tough slate. But I think you just have better value plays on the slate where you don't have to go there. I think you can, and I wouldn't tell you it's the worst idea, but I think there's other routes that I would prefer to go to. And then not really a ton of value that I'm looking to get interested in the Sixers side. I know Tobias Harris is 5'9" and 6'5" on DK. Not a price tag I want to pay, but if you want to build an all revenge team spread, Tobias Harris has revenge as well.
Have you done that before? Have you done the all revenge team?
I haven't. I've never done an all revenge. But
I always forget he played for Milwaukee. I always think Orlando drafted him.
Yeah, they drafted him, right? I mean, he was.
Yeah, he was there for a couple years before he went to Orlando.
He was there so long.
That's good knowledge. That's good knowledge. Wow. Okay, I don't remember that. I definitely remember Drew Holiday on those tank-tastic Sixers. But
another random Tobias Harris narrative. I don't know if it still exists, but LeBron and Tobias Harris hate each other. They are not fans of each other. So when those two go up against each other, sometimes I give LeBron.
Why do they hate each other?
I don't know. Tobias talked a lot of trash about him way back. So I can't remember. I'm sure if I Googled it, I can find it. But I know those guys are not maybe they don't hate each otre, but they are not the biggest fans of each other for sure.
Tobias, that's how Embiid and Mo Bamba are. Every time Embiid plays the Magic, he absolutely smashes them.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna look it up now real quick because I'm just curious. I know they're definitely not the biggest fans of each other.
We're not gonna be able to get into it today, but you've got a great idea for a show, right? We got to do the top 5 biggest revenge or biggest players that hate each other the most, right? Because right, we're gonna have to throw Morris and the Jokic's out there, right? We've got a lot of them out there.
Oh, there's I mean, I love this stuff. I mean, I've been even before DFS, I was following the NBA really closely just because I like playing NBA 2K. So I was really I was really deep into the NBA at that point and watching it. So even before DFS, I absolutely love the NBA. And so I definitely, I go pretty way back. Once you hit like the Celtics, like before like the Celtics when they had their big three, then I kind of struggle a little bit. I mean, I have things that I remember, but not a huge encyclopedia after that.
All right. Anything more on the Bucks and the Sixers before we move on?
No, good DFS team to get those studs. I'll just say that. Like, they're good studs to go for, not as great value plays. I think you want to mix your values in other spots.
All right. Yeah. Sounds like a plan.
Only thing for me was I'd bet the Drew Holiday 20+ points and win. You're getting like plus 300 on that. Mm-hmm. He's going to be matched up with Harden, and we know Harden ain't playing no defense tonight.
But are they going to run that the other way? Or are they going to have Harden hide on like Grayson Allen or something?
I mean, they could, but then you could just bet the Grayson Allen 15+ or 10+ points.
Okay. Sounds good. Half of I'm not sure what he's talking. Everybody he's talking about for the feuds. Everybody versus Grayson Allen and everybody versus Pat Bev. All right, and look at this good knowledge. See, I didn't know about strip clubs and massages in Orlando. So he says maybe Harden will get down there and have a great time. Let's talk about a team that, boy, they are in trouble right now. The Los Angeles Lakers. We mentioned before LeBron James doubtful. Anthony Davis actually on the list is doubtful, whereas other places I've seen all the way out till August or April 8th. So maybe he'll be back soon. I don't know. The Lakers, maybe they get healthy. Maybe they make a push. I mean, that was a pretty awesome duo, when they're both healthy. We just haven't seen it for so long. I think we forgot how good they can be, but neither of them will be on the court tonight, most likely, right? Both say doubtful. Maybe we get some wild news, but I'm assuming that they're not going to play. Dallas Mavericks are minus 11.5. Mavericks coming off that big win over Utah, and that was on Sunday night, right, Tyler? We had that play out there for the Run Pure Bets members. We had the money line, and we loved it. We gave it out before Gobert went out. I liked it either way. But Gobert going out was kind of the icing on the cake and gave us that hashtag CLV. I like the Mavericks to cover the spread tonight. I don't love it. I think the bookmakers did a pretty good job. But, boy, this Lakers team, Travis talked about it. It's pretty bad here. Probably the most top-heavy team in the NBA. So when they're missing their stars, really can be a struggle to watch, and especially for those Lakers fans. And that's why, I'm expecting to hear more explosive Twitter spaces tonight. Tyler, what do you think?
I mean, I think we should bet this all the way up to like minus 19.5 spread. We're getting like plus.
Does Luka hate LeBron?
I mean, it's just not that. We all know Dallas plays good team defense. Mm-hmm. You take LeBron off the floor. I mean, these guys aren't going to be able to do anything against Dallas tonight. Dallas is going to be able to name their score tonight, how much they want to win this game by. Mm-hmm. And we all know everyone hates the Lakers. It's their chance to beat up on them. Mm-hmm. I think you get Luka, go out there. He has a nice game. Dinwiddie can come off the bench and have a solid one, too. And I just think they run him right off the floor. Like, I just don't see how they keep up with this team tonight. So give me Dallas up to like minus 19.5.
All right. And Travis, now it's not just your mustache in the chat. This is a great chat today. And we don't have time to put all these comments on the screen, but I really appreciate you guys adding some nice discourse here to the show. Travis, we both like the Mavericks to continue the Lakers fans' woes. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll be jumping in the Twitter space tonight to hear the Lakers fans cry. It was very entertaining. Some really bad takes, but hey, if you want to jump in, it's kind of funny to listen to. If you got nothing to do, definitely don't prioritize it over hanging out with the wife or something. That's for sure. But, Lakers are definitely going to be in play today. They're a team that we cannot ignore. Reason why is we don't have a ton of great value on this slate. We have some that's okay, but when you kind of plug in a Dwight Howard, right, at 3.8K, well, that's kind of nice because it just like helps you like build out a lot of stuff throughout your lineups. Like Austin Reeves at 3.5. Don't mind him. I like him more with LeBron. That's like one of my concerns is like just might not get those open looks. But I think he's still in play, guard and forward eligible. Wayne Gabriel at 4K. There's also a Dallas team that doesn't mind playing bigger at times. And like, I don't know. I think Wayne Gabriel definitely is in play, especially like with LeBron possibly not being in there. Well, like those are minutes that like who is going to take those up? You know who might take up some of them? Might be Carmelo Anthony. It might be a really good night for Carmelo because when you're playing good team defense, right? What's going to happen on the other end? Well, Carmelo Anthony is going to take a lot of those really bad 2-point shots. Dwight Howard is going to probably get a lot of rebounds. So is like a Wayne Gabriel, where I think those are like the 3 guys I'm keying in on right now. I think that are really good plays to take advantage of. Would I play all of them together? Probably not. Also, Luka's worth talking about. I don't really know what to do with him today because, like, if you told me this game was close and Luka plays the whole game, Luka's probably the best stud on the slate, maybe even over Giannis and Embiid, just because imagine Luka for 36 minutes against the Lakers. I mean, it's going to be free. So it's just free points. He's just going to destroy. Now, the question is, if they get up, will they pull him? Will he maybe not play? Will it just be Dinwiddie and Brunson closing the game out in the fourth quarter just to make sure that they get that W? Certainly could be the case. Can Luka get there in 3 quarters? Yes, but there is that risk and concern that you have here. I know Russell Westbrook has been playing a lot better. It just depends what you want to do with him. I'm really torn at the 8.8K price tag. I think he's a really good option at 8.8, but does he beat out those other studs? That's really the question that I'm going to have. Does he beat out, I don't know, let's say Donovan Mitchell at 8.7K, who gets maybe all the usage to himself against the Clippers in a close game? Like, that's a big question to ask yourself. So there's a lot to do here. And then the cheap options like DeRozan and Vucevic, if Levine sits, well, those guys would pop more than a Westbrook. So Westbrook might not be a guy that I go to today. In the past, I think people have really gravitated towards him. I just see there being other studs that I would prefer to go to right now. That's kind of my thought process.
All right. Pretty good breakdown there for what I don't think is going to be a very exciting game. Thank you for that, Travis. Breakdown brought to you by runpuresports.com. Promo code GETBETS. Join it. Another game that I don't think will be too exciting. Detroit Pistons heading to Brooklyn to take on the Nets.
Real quick, Fred, I got comments in the chat. Melo can't shoot on the road, and Joey Work laughing about Melo. Melo is going to chuck. Like, you just need value on the slate, right? Like, at times, like, I don't think people realize how much Melo is just willing to chuck the ball up. Like, that, those are the guys that you want late in the year. Like, I'm not trying to say that Melo is like this incredible play or something, but how many minutes is he going to play? He's likely going to play like 30 minutes. If you look at all the games, and I'll actually pull it up on StatMuse. I'm going to pull up the Carmelo Anthony game logs without LeBron James, because I'm pretty sure they're incredible. Average DraftKings points without.
They have DraftKings points on StatMuse?
Yeah. So if you type in, this is actually really good. Actually, this is a good thought. You might like this. So if you type in Carmelo Anthony average DraftKings points without LeBron James game logs, it pops up. I'm going to read you all of his games without LeBron. And here they are. 29.75, 29.75, 11.5. That game he only played 11 minutes. No clue why, against the Clippers. 43, 20, 41, 13. And this is, so 13, 18, 16. That's where he has a rough stretch, right? He goes like 21, 19. And that's going to happen, right? Melo's going to miss shots. But how many guys at 4.6K have the ability to get you those 40-point fantasy games? Like, it's late in the year. I mean, this could be Melo's last year. He's going to obviously want to chuck up a ton of shots. Like, we saw it with Kobe Bryant. It's probably not the best comp, but I don't know. You probably don't remember. Do you remember the Kobe Bryant Utah Jazz game spread where
he scored 50 on like 49 shots?
He was only owned 25% in DFS. It was like the craziest thing ever, and he just like went off. And that's probably a really bad comp. Like, people are gonna say I'm disrespecting Kobe. I probably am by saying this, but like, he's definitely a guy that this is probably his last year, right? I don't see him playing another year. Like, he's gonna want to chuck and go out there and get buckets and have a good time. So that's why I want a roster. Like, that's why I talk about Ben McLemore on the Trailblazers. You know why I don't mind Ben McLemore this late in the year? Because the dude chucks. He wants to go out there and just chuck the ball up. And that's what you want in DFS. You want guys that are willing to shoot. You don't want Tony Snell standing in the corner.
All right. Boy, you managed to piss off a lot of people, including JT Hayes, with that breakdown. So thank you for that, Travis. All right.
JT's in the chat?
No, but I'm sure if he was, he would not be happy with you. So.
Oh, yeah, because of Tony.
We don't want any Tony Snell slander here. So we'll just go ahead and shut that down right now.
By the way, Kevin, I just posted the StatMuse link. So, like, all you have to do when I typed in Carmelo Anthony average DraftKings points without LeBron. I also typed game logs at the end. The reason I type in game logs is I want to, like, it shows you these different bars that helps make it way easier to view. So all you have to do from there is change a lot of like names. So if you wanted to look up, like, you type in Nikola Vucevic average DraftKings points without Zach LaVine game logs, and you'll get all of the games where he's played without Zach LaVine throughout his entire career. And then you can kind of sift through it. You can also sort by date as well. I think it's a valuable tool to find quick information. Definitely good like for doing shows and stuff. It can help you notice some things, but also sometimes it could just be random noise, right? You don't know what's happening with every single game. But I think it's a good talking point at times and just shows you what Melo's ceiling can be. I don't know if he'll do it today, but he has the ability to do it.
All right. Yeah, that's a great breakdown. I do enjoy that site too. I like their little pictures, and they're getting better. I can just see in about like 5 years when they're really dialed in, because sometimes it'll mess up, I'll do like Chicago Bulls record against losing teams, right? And it'll be like, the Chicago Bulls are 2-0 against the Orlando Magic this year. And I'm like, okay, that wasn't exactly what I wanted, right?
Yeah, you have to just mess with the search. Like you have to learn the algorithm of what to type in to get your answers. That there is some wonkiness to it, but like once you dial it in and know what to type in, you can get a lot of good answers. Like you can get good betting stuff too. Like against
it's great. I think it's going to take over in the next 5 years. I think they're really dialing it in right now because even compared to last year, it's so much better than it was.
It was great in the past, like early when it first came out, it was awesome, and then it tanked and was like really bad, and then they like ironed it out and fixed it. So I love it. It's definitely a tool that I like to use for sure.
Yeah, big Stat Muse fans over here. So we were going to talk about the Pistons and the Nets, and that moved to half point while you broke down Stat Muse, Travis. That's how much people do not think the Pistons are. I was 13.5 earlier. Now it's minus 14 for the Nets. I'm using Bookmaker to get these numbers. 233.5 plus 816 for the Pistons. If you want to get crazy, hey, disappointing home debut for Kyrie Irving. Tyler, that was the only one we missed on Sunday night, right? We just thought, Kyrie's going to crush. He's going to be real excited to get out there, right? And that was definitely not the case. Don't know the numbers, but I think he only made 6 field goals. Definitely struggled. The Hornets beat them 119-110. And that actually moved the Hornets, I think, within a half game there of the Nets for that 8th spot. They're a half game behind them right now. Brooklyn is 39-36. Charlotte 39-37. So it's not like there was a game that Brooklyn was necessarily looking past. So I really gave credit to the Hornets for that win. And, they did so good at the beginning of the year. Then we kind of wrote them off. Maybe they're making a late season surge. But let's go back to the Nets and the Hornets. Nets and the Pistons. I don't know. I don't want to lay 14. But Pistons have no Jeremy Grant. It's going to be the Cade Cunningham show. Did hear some quotes, right, Travis? We like these quotes in these press conferences that Cade really feels like he should be the rookie of the year. I wonder if we get a little more performance, a little more usage from him as him and his teammates kind of try to make that campaign, because that's really all they have to play for as the season ends. That could be good if you want to take the 14 with the Pistons. I don't love this game. Tyler, am I missing something?
No, a 14 is a lot to lay with this Nets team. I think they win. Mm-hmm. It is, again, another game where I'm not running to take the 14 with Detroit. They have been playing better, but I just don't see them matching up well right here. Like, who are they going to put on KD in this spot? Like, even their center's too short to guard KD. Like, they run like a 6'9" center out there. They don't stand a chance. No matter how many minutes Drummond plays, he should get a double-double here. KD should put up 30. Maybe Kyrie bounces back in his second home game. But I'm going to go with this being a KD game. I like his 30-plus and win. You're getting that at about plus 150. You could do his double-double and win at plus 205. And I wouldn't mind doing some Bruce Brown. Like, you could do Bruce Brown 5+ assists, which he's hit a lot recently. And Brooklyn wins at 5-1. And those would be the way I'd approach this game.
Yeah, that's great. I like that. That's a huge number there for getting a team that's minus 1227 on the money line. Yes, Travis, go ahead.
And then the only other prop I'd play in that is Bruce Brown's points, rebounds, and assists at 20.5. Okay. This is a perfect spot for him to put up a nice stat line.
All right, big Bruce Band fan over here with Tyler. Travis, the Nets, minus 1227 on the money line. And you're also minus 1227 to mention it's a Drummond revenge game. So let's just get that out of the way right now.
Yeah, let's get all the revenge out of the way. Blake Griffin revenge, Andre Drummond revenge. We got one more, Bruce Brown revenge, right? He's actually a relevant guy today. He's 5.8K. I don't think I'm going to be playing Bruce Brown, though. It doesn't feel like the right spot to go him. Only guy I'm really focusing on the Nets side, I believe, is going to be Andre Drummond at 5.5. He can pay off that tag for pretty cheap. I made him my play of the day the other day against Charlotte. Had a massive game. Went for 52 DK points, so that was nice. On the Pistons side, I like what you're saying with Cade Cunningham. I totally agree with what you're saying. If this game is close, I do think Sadiq Bey is part of it, where, I don't want to pay the 7K price tag. He won't be on either of my teams. But I understand he has 50-point upside. So, like, if you think this game stays close, I wouldn't mind mixing and matching up throughout your lineups if you have the money to. I much prefer Marvin Bagley at 5.6K. One reason Cade Cunningham might not get that Rookie of the Year. One, Evan Mobley's look great. I assume he's going to be the one to get it, right?
I don't know. He turned his ankle last night, so he's going to be out for a little while.
Yeah, there's only like 20. I don't know. There's not that much time left.
If anyone gets it, though, I think that Barnes would get it over.
It's the same situation it was last year. Somebody's going to make a late run, and the guy's still going to win it like LaMelo did. So,
yeah, that's my guess. But Marvin Bagley definitely could be a guy that takes away from Cade Cunningham a ton and has a pretty big game at 5.6K. He's also a guy you want to develop. On top of that, like, who is behind him? Kelly Olynyk, and they hate playing Kelly Olynyk. So I love this spot for Marvin Bagley. I think he's one of the like really good value plays on this slate. Along with Andre Drummond. The only issue with Drummond is 5.5 is a great tag, but the center position kind of is tough. If you play Drummond, Howard, and Embiid, well, wait, you can't do that. Again, you can only play 2 centers every single slate. So curious to see what the ownership comes in on a lot of these guys. If you do play Marvin Bagley, make sure more than likely to put him at power forward unless you have all these other value plays and like he fits the center, then that's fine. But that's kind of my thought process right now. And I think Marvin Bagley, Andre Drummond are the 2 best plays in this game. And then Cade Cunningham on FanDuel is really good at 7.7. 8.8, not a bad contrarian option, but not someone I'm slamming to my lineups. It's more so if I happen to fall on him.
All right, runpuresports.com, promo code GetBets. Join it, Utah Jazz.
Before we go into that game spread, I got one more prop in that last game.
Oh, look here.
Drummond's points plus rebounds is 22.5. He's put up double-digit points in about 8 of his last 9. Listen to some of these stat lines: 20 and 16, 13 and 11, 15 and 5, 17 and 9, 14 and 17. So he's blowing this number out of the water. He played Detroit when he was still in Philly. He played 18 minutes in that game. He put up 14 and 15. So definitely like that points plus rebounds on him tonight at 22.5.
I like that too. That's a good spot.
One more thing to mention, West Coast brought up a good point in the chat. Killian Hayes has been playing a lot better. And if you think the slate is lacking value, which it certainly could be, like maybe you lay that Lakers starting lineup and you're like, man, this is not what I was hoping for. And I don't love it. Like, Killian Hayes is not a bad idea to go to today as a cheaper option on this slate. Again, this isn't an amazing value. I'm hoping he's more lower owned. If he's like a guy's like 40 to 50%, then not that interested in that, but he definitely can get there at the price. He's one of those young guys that they might be developing, right? And getting some more time for. So definitely don't think he's a bad option.
All right, Killian Hayes, a player I haven't talked about a lot lately. What do you think about Killian Hayes overall, Tyler? I don't think he's ever really going to get there to be a starter. I think
I still stand by the fact that he's going to be a Shanghai Shark soon.
Yeah, I think he has backup written all over him. I don't know if he'll ever be what they hope when they draft him to that position. But hey, hopefully I'm wrong, right? We've seen players develop in their 4th and 5th year.
Oh yeah, one thing that I didn't get to talk about at the beginning of the show spread when we usually talk about last night's NBA. Did you see my boy put Jakob Bertel on a poster?
Which boy? Jalen Green?
Jalen Green got him.
Oh, dude.
Jalen
Green's playing well. Jalen Green's playing well, right? And I told you I liked Houston there, right? I mean, that was.
Did you see? There was another poster that happened. I forget which one it was. It was like a crazy.
Oh, D'Anthony Melton dunked on like 3 of the Warriors that were under.
Yes, the Melton one was sick. The Melton
one was pretty sick.
Look it up. Go to Twitter and type in Melton, and you'll find the and like look at videos. You'll find it. It's a crazy dunk.
Yeah. D'Anthony Melton, Jalen Green. See, we got to get these guys in the dunk contest. So, any thoughts on Killian Hayes rebounds props, Tyler? I bet you that's something that you didn't research.
Yeah, I was about to say didn't really look over the Killian Hayes props this morning.
All right. Well, maybe we'll get back to you. Robert, you and I send messages. If Tyler finds an edge, I will let you know. The final game of the night, the Utah Jazz -2 in Los Angeles, taking on the Clippers. 217.5 is the total, plus 115 for the Clippers on the money line. The Los Angeles Clippers anxiously awaiting the return of Paul George. Not something I expected this season. Boy, that throws another wrench in the Western Conference playoffs if it's true, because we've talked all year about these Clippers playing above their heads, right? Playing above their level, just giving all the props or the flowers, right? As the kids say. Although Tyler's buddies don't say it, but the rest of them do. But Ty Lue's been getting it all because this team has definitely been overachieving. If they get a real superstar back, maybe they can make noise in the Western Conference playoffs to do so, right? The Utah Jazz is a team that they're going to need to beat, especially if they're at home. Utah Jazz have not been playing well as of late. They've lost 4 in a row. 4 losses in a row for Utah. They've fallen to 5th in the standings. They're only a half game ahead of Denver, only 2.5 ahead of Minnesota. So they got to turn things around quick. Clippers still pretty solid there in that 8 seed. They are 6.5 behind Minnesota and 4 games ahead of New Orleans. So I think I'm pretty safe in saying the Clippers will be number 8 at the end of the season. Doesn't mean they don't want to get this win now, right? Because if they do win that playing game, this could be a team that they would be facing down the line. So, Tyler, how are you approaching this? Do the Jazz? I mean, the Jazz are terrible on the road. I mean, they're just bad. I mean, I don't know. The Clippers, not a great roster, but boy, at plus 115, I think they're the right side mathematically, but I haven't bet it yet. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be big to get that Gobert news. If he's out, I mean, who's going to play center for these guys? Whiteside's already rolled out, so they'd have to go small, and which would actually fall into the Clippers' favor here. So,
which is how they beat them.
Yeah, it's exactly how they beat them.
Yeah.
Mitchell could put up a nice number here. With Bogdanovic questionable still, he could shoot 30 times again in this matchup. They have a 25 plus listed on him, and Utah wins at 2-1. You could do the 4+3s and win at plus 225. And if you like the Clippers side, I think the way you go is Zubac. You could do 10 Clippers win and 10 plus rebounds on Zubac, get you plus 430.
All right.
I think that's the way to go if you like the Clippers here.
Yeah. Travis, I think this is a tough one. My numbers tell me to bet Los Angeles. I don't know if I want to do it. What do you think?
Yeah, I like betting the Jazz. I know I hate like jumping on like a team that's been like losing over and over and hoping it ends tonight.
Buy low.
Yeah, it definitely is a good buy low spot. I also don't believe in this Clippers team that much. Like with like they're resting guys, right? They don't really care that much about this. And the Jazz, it does seem like they have a little more to fight for. Also, like, man, like when you like lose like all those games like they have been, like they're also now in the TNT spot. Like the Jazz are like, they love playing that TNT game. They love to prove to people that Utah's a good basketball team. I know it's like a little narrative that's there, but I just don't believe in the Clippers and like all the minutes that they have, like limits they have on these guys. Like if the game is close, are they going to push like Reggie Jackson to get there at the end? Like, I don't know. I'm more believer in the Jazz finding a way to get it done here tonight. Not a team I'm like buying in on in the playoffs or anything, but I do think I like the Jazz at their price. So give me the Jazz. That'll probably be a side that I'm on tonight. When it comes to DFS, you obviously have to like these guys. The problem is like, let's say that Rudy Gobert is out. Well, like Donovan Mitchell definitely gets a small bump, but like this is such a late game where it's hard to make the adjustments, right? Jordan Clarkson gets a really good bump too. He's going to chug up a ton of shots and have a lot more opportunity. So the big issue I have is like, it's hard to navigate DFS wise. If you do decide to play some of these options, like have some kind of backup plan to figure out what your pivot's going to be if it doesn't go the way that you want it to. Also, Rudy Gobert 7-3. That's a really good price tag for Rudy Gobert. And he can be a late pivot if you're behind. That's going to literally not be owned if the news doesn't come to later on. And if you pivot to him, he could really help get you back up to the top of the leaderboard. Like, let's say Donovan Mitchell happens to be, let's say you have Donovan Mitchell in your utility spot and you're really behind, like you're way behind. Why not play Rudy Gobert at low ownership? Or maybe he leaps him up, maybe in a head-to-head. That's like something that can help get you back in it. Like, that's always something to look at. But yeah, I think that 7-3 price tag is really good. Also, the values are going to be good. Like Pascal is going to be a really good value play that you want to consider. Another guy who played really well the other day, which like I kind of wish I considered a little bit more. I want to pull this game out because it looked like he played well in the time. Yeah, it was only 21 minutes, but Trent Forrest is someone that if you tell me he's going to get run, he's a good like fantasy point per minute guy. We're like on this like showdown slate. If you play the showdown, he could be a really good value play that no one's really looking at. They can help you out to like get you to the top. So there's a lot to look at there in this Jazz game. I'm not playing any Clippers. They're just too risky, but there are some good Jazz plays DFS wise. All
right. Sounds like a great breakdown there. Appreciate that and can't wait to see where you guys land and who the play of the days are on the Hardwood Live Show. And, of course, that is coming up in a half hour. And then, of course, if you are a member of Run Pure Sports, you can check out the Up to Lock show where they navigate the late news with the dexterity of Donovan Mitchell. So always great to be a member of Run Pure Sports. Promo code GetBets. Join it. Tyler, time for the best bets.
Give me Milwaukee's money line. They're going to win tonight against Philly.
Oh, that was going to be
Philly.
mine.
I knew I was going to steal yours by accident. My bad.
I'm going to steal a prop now. All right, Travis. Tyler is on the Milwaukee money line. What's your best bet for the day? Side total or prop?
Yeah, we the people with another good comment. Hernan Gomez is definitely another guy that could fill the void. Just got to know who's in and out, so it's something to wait on. But my best bet, we're gonna go with the Jazz. The Jazz are gonna decide. I want that money line. Let me ride the Jazz out. I don't think the Clippers are a team that I'm buying in on right now. Maybe in the playoffs I will, depending on the matchups. But I like the Jazz here.
All right, and Tyler, since you took my play, I'm going to take yours. What was the Bruce Brown that you gave out earlier? What was the exact numbers on that?
The points, rebounds, and assists, or the 5+ assists and win?
Let's do the points, rebounds, assists.
It's 20.5, and you're getting plus 105 on that.
I'm going to do Bruce Brown, points, rebounds, and assists over 20.5. Take that, Tyler. I'll give out a prop. You can give out the side today. We got to keep them on our toes here. And, of course, one thing they love at the end of the show, Tyler, is when you swing for the fences. Did you cook something up for everybody?
Yeah, we're going to go with Donovan Mitchell 25+ and win as our first leg.
Okay.
We're going to go with Vucevic double-double, and Chicago picks up the win, which terrifies the hell out of me.
Yeah, that's a scary one.
And then
I wish that one was last and we could hedge it, right?
And then we're going to go Dorian Finney-Smith 3+ threes and Dallas wins because we know the Lakers aren't playing any defense.
DFS on the DFS show. Love it. All right, Travis.
20-1.
Excellent, Tyler. I love it. And, of course, drop it in the Discord in case, some of our diligent members are on the workbench and not able to hear the show live. Travis, do you want to let everyone know all the great content that you'll be putting out at Run Pure Sports this week?
Yeah, I got to get on this player performance double. So, Tyler, it's the Vucevic double-double and win, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Vucevic double-double, Mitchell 25 and win. And then Dorian Finney-Smith 3+ threes.
3+ threes. I gotta find that one. Oh, that one's deep. You gotta look for that one.
That's not that deep. It's only plus 180.
And then the Mitchell one's an easy one to find, right? Mitchell is let's see, 25+.
Yep.
All right, we're in, Tyler. I'm booking it in. I'm getting this bet in. Last time I made fun of the Tyler Hero one, and it won, so it was very hurtful. So I want to be on this one.
Excellent.
All right, cool. So where am I? I'm going to be on the Hardwood Show in 25 minutes with Gary and Title. We'll be breaking down the slate. We got a golf show tonight on the YouTube channel, so be sure to check that out. You can check out me, JJ, Ali, Uncle T, and Snyder. We'll be breaking down the golf stuff tomorrow on the Run Pure Bets channel as well. And I'll be on tomorrow on the Hardwood Show with Big T and DC. But Spread, I'm not feeling the best, so I gotta go shower real quick and freshen myself up for the next show, and we'll pick a ton of winners. I'm excited for this slate. Should be a good one. We'll have to see how the news shakes out too. That could definitely change some stuff up. So stay tuned to the Hardwood Show.
All right, stay tuned for that. And of course, Travis, we can never tell because you may not be feeling good, but you're looking great. People love the mustache. Can't wait to see all the comments in the chat on the Hardwood Live Show. Once again, our chat was lively today. I appreciate you guys all making the show better. Hanging out with us every day just makes it so much more fun for us to do that. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow and Run Pure.